Hi guys, today I thought I would do another video because I haven't done one for a couple of days. Also, I was given a tripod for my birthday for recording, so it means that I've got my hands free for once. So hopefully that should make the camera more steady and it won't wobble as much. So I thought today's video I would do one on the benefits of utilizing other health anxiety sufferers in order to help you overcome your own health anxiety. Because we need reassurance so much, it's advisable when you run out of options on where to get reassurance from to learn a technique that will allow you to give yourself the reassurance you need so that it's essentially self-generated. That can seem like quite a complex procedure to a lot of people, and that's very understandable. I found it quite difficult myself in the early days, but I was lucky that I experimented quite a lot and found a system that seemed to work, that not only gave me reassurance but taught me the ability to rationalize. So what I would advise you to do, and this won't be for everybody, some people will find that it's more problems than they feel it's worth, but that would be to use an online forum for health anxiety sufferers. There's quite a lot out there. There's places like No More Panic. They have a large section on health anxiety, which is a forum for sufferers. And you will find, if you type in health anxiety into Facebook, you will find a lot of support groups that will be able to serve the same purpose. Only sometimes they are actually more interactive, which is better. So usually when people have health anxiety and they use a forum, they are essentially using the forum for selfish reasons, which is to gain reassurance from people, from random people they've never met. And then they get the reassurance they want and they leave, and then they keep going back just for that purpose. That doesn't actually help you in the long run because you're just finding a new source that you can use for reassurance. And in the process, you'll find that a lot of the posts inside these forums will actually become triggers to you, and they will exacerbate your own fears. So like I say, it's not for everybody, but if you are brave, there's ways that can be that you can use the groups to your benefit. One of the ways to overcome the amount of triggers that you will find in health anxiety groups is to firstly acknowledge that the people posting about their fears are people like you. You've got to understand that the majority of the people also posting the group don't have these disorders that they're fearing, they're just afraid of them. So that alone can actually help you gain some perspective. And just through looking through the posts, it's advisable, I would say, to start taking a step back from your own symptoms and actually observing the health anxiety community as a whole, because that's one of the easiest ways to get the largest amount of rationalization that you are suffering from a disorder and not a medical illness due to the symptoms you're having. The more you look through the posts that have been put up there by health anxiety sufferers, the more you will notice patterns that they all seem to follow. So you'll notice a lot of people are reacting to things that you might even consider to be quite trivial, things that you experienced that didn't bother you, or you see people posting about the fact that they get muscle twitches and they're frightened that it's MS, and you've suffered from muscle twitches all your life and that's never raised concerns for you. So it's very helpful in gaining some kind of perspective so that you can see the community as a whole, to understand that even the things that you don't react to can be things that other people do react to, and that is a result of health anxiety disorder, not the fact that their symptoms are any different, essentially. So that would be the easiest way to, as a whole, start to view the health anxiety community. They are people like you with fears that may be different, but they follow the same pattern, and they have the same outcome, and they follow the same behaviors of needing reassurance, talking to their family, and breakdowns in communication, and doctor's appointments and tests and test results. They all follow the same patterns, although they may have all had a different cause. So if you can actually digest the fact that the fears that people bring up in health anxiety groups are no more real than your own in most cases, then that gives you the ability to be able to actually start reading some of the posts. Now, when we request or desire reassurance from people, I've said many times in my other videos that that's not beneficial at all, because it just produces a cycle where you just keep needing more and more reassurance. But I believe personally that there is a way that you can actually use reassurance in a beneficial way. The way that I've found is most effective is to use the health anxiety sufferer groups in the opposite way to how you would normally use them. So instead of going into the group with the agenda of gaining reassurance, go to the group with the agenda of giving reassurance. So say, for example, they have a fixation about their vision, and they're freaking out about it. And you can see from their post that they've been for eye tests and had all the checks necessary. Put yourself into that position for a moment and imagine how it is that you've had no evidence to support it, but you still carry on believing it, and you still become afraid of it. Put yourself into that position and give that person the advice that you would like to have yourself, that you know is logical. So that would involve replying to that person about their concerns about their eyesight, and rationalizing for them that they have been for the appropriate tests, and they are fearing the illness that they think that they have based on fear and nothing else. So they've had all the tests, and sorry, that's my cat getting in the way. They've had all the tests, and you can see that they're actually being irrational. So if you go into the groups with the agenda of essentially just pointing out, sorry, it's my cat's tail, pointing out how irrational other people are, in a kind way, obviously, not by saying you're irrational, you're crazy, because you've got to have empathy that they're going through the same thing as you. But to rationalize to them by saying, you know, you need to address the fact that you're repeating a pattern by keep on looking for results that show that there's something wrong, and nothing showing that anything is wrong. So, you know, could this be a fear that you are developing, which is as a result of having health anxiety as opposed to reacting to symptoms? So a lot of the time, the people that are in these groups don't actually have the illnesses that they are afraid of. And just being able to be objective for them, and going in and trying to re-educate them that they're being irrational, instead of talking about your fears, talking about their fears. The benefit of doing this is the fact that because you're teaching yourself how to rationalize for somebody else, you will learn a transferable skill that will allow you to rationalize your own problems without even realizing that you're learning that skill. You know, it's very selfish to only think of yourself in a situation like this, because you're dealing with people that suffer from the same problem as you. So it requires a degree of empathy. You have to understand that these people that you're talking to are essentially a mirror that you're looking into, and it's reflecting back to you the same disorder that you actually experience. So it's very good to try and help other people, and try and everybody has gained experience in one area or another where they've improved. Try and pass that experience on to another person. You know, if you have a person in there that's frightened and they're not sleeping properly, it would be very nice if you could be selfless enough to advise them on techniques that you've tried yourself to overcome your sleep problems. Or if, you know, if they're freaking out because they read an article in the newspaper about heart attacks, and now they're freaking out that they might have a heart attack. I would imagine by this point of having health anxiety, you're able to recognize that they're probably only freaking out about their heart based on the fact that they were triggered by an article they read. When they're in that mindset that they're freaking out about their heart, they're unable to look objectively at it and attribute their fears to the fact that they were triggered by an article they wrote. However, if you're a person who's reading their post and you can see the connection that they hit a trigger and as a result they're now fearing their worries about their heart, then use the forum to help that person understand that you can look at their situation objectively and see that they're just experiencing something which is a trait of health anxiety, as opposed to focusing on their fears about their heart. So it sounds a bit convoluted and complicated, but essentially all you want to do is you want to change your role from patient to doctor. You want to go into these health anxiety forums and stop talking about yourself and start helping other people. Because the more you learn to help other people, you don't realize that you are learning a skill that when you're alone and you have a panic attack, you can almost embrace that inner voice that gave the reassurance to other people by rationalizing. You can use that inner voice to actually rationalize for yourself. One of the easiest ways to learn how to rationalize is by using other people as if they're almost other versions of yourself, because they are fellow sufferers. So you need to be able to look at other health anxiety sufferers objectively and help them rationalize in order to learn the skill of rationalization that you can transfer and use for a skill on yourself for the times when you need reassurance and there is nobody to gain reassurance from, because that will give you a degree of self-control. And that, I think you will find, will act as a good starting point for learning the skills of rationalization through the use of other like-minded people. So let me know if anybody else has used a health anxiety group for that purpose. Most people use it for selfish reasons, just for talking about themselves. So it's interesting to try, and I think you'll find it quite enjoyable. You'll find it empowering, and you may help somebody else in the process, as well as learning a new skill you can use for yourself. Okay, so thank you very much, and until next time, bye-bye.